Hello, hello. So I'm going over a Shadowverse deck kind of profile. I personally don't like meta stuff, so I run a lot of different weird and interesting decks to kind of show, some things can work and you don't always need to go with the most expensive stuff. This deck is a little bit more just because of a couple legendaries in it, but it's not like a super expensive deck, and it does do pretty decently. So it does revolve around the Steadfast Samurai. With the Steadfast Samurai, you can pay two and give the follower +1/+1. It's not a once per turn, and you can activate it multiple times to give her a constant flow of attack and defense. She doesn't take combat damage, which probably would be really cool in like cross play with Heavencraft because they have a ward. But if you give her the Armor of Stars, she then has aura, so she has protection versus things being targeting her. So the only things that really affect her are like blanketing effects, like Thieves' Decree would be harmful, but for the most part, running 3 and 3, you have a consistency of seeing it. Armor of Stars is the only card in this deck that is not searchable. Everything else is. So we are running a little bit of of attack and defense. So we run the 2 Leonidases with 2 evolves just in case they either A, get banished, or B, get sent back to hand so that you never get Leonidas's resolve token. I like that this deck can pull the officer with Aether of the Winged Warrior. The deck plows through its followers. I was about to say monsters, thinking like Yu-Gi-Oh. But it does plow through pretty decently, and she searches any commander or officer card, which is every card but Armor of Stars. So she can search out whatever you need as you need it, and then of course you run 2 gem staffs just to give that a little bit more consistency on the followers. But she can also bring spells. So if you have Steadfast Samurai, you can search for Godsend Strike, which will give her rush anyway and only cost 2 for 3/2. So that's going to increase her damage output, increase her health. She still can't be targeted if you have Armor Stars on her. So those kinds of things are wonderful in this deck. So as a backup to Steadfast, you also have Mars, the Silent Flame General. She is a 3 cost, takes 0 to evolve. You pay 1 and pull an officer, aka your Steadfast Samurai, to board from deck, giving her a +1 attack. And being that you only spent 3 play points, if you're turn 5, 6 in, you still are able to either activate Armor of Stars or her own ability giving a rush, because she doesn't take combat damage. So you can just keep running into things and eliminating their field without having to worry about losing a follower. So protection, Usurping Blade, Spine Blade, very good. A small mill does good damage. It costs 2. Easy to use. Same thing with Whole Soul Swing. Does 3 damage, except this time you get a night token. So if you leave the night token in the EX area, you can always wait until you get the resolve, and then you have a night token with rush. So very good. Heavier cards, because a lot of lower cost cards are having like 5 or 6 defense, or what I call their butt. Extra, again, you got a night token, and this does 5 damage for 3. It's a very good card. I run it at 3, and then I run 2 of the other one and 3. Very good coverage. You could easily switch places with like Surefire Bullet. You could put in snipe shots, whatever kind of fits your build. There is a new card in neutral that is a 4-drop that's really good. The Divine Retribution, because if you have an evolved follower, you put this in your EX area, so you're able to reuse it. It's not a bad card, considering that Heavencraft has a really good amount of removal, this is another good card for even Heavencraft, in my opinion. So back to this. Back to the deck. So as a stall, aura, ward, assail, rush, very good card. You know, you're not doing a lot of taking out. If enemies are running a swordcraft deck or they're running a rune deck, they're going to have a lot on board. It's just really a really simple 5. She turns into a 6/8. She's hard to kill, you know, so she can't be targeted, which is really, really good. You only play her when there's 3. So I only play 2 of her. She's just as a 2 of, you know, it's one of those things, if I don't need to see her, I can search her if I need to have her. Of course, you got to run 3 of the Quick Blader. He has Storm. He's a 1-drop. Early pokes, very good for Swordcraft. I run 1 Alexander. Again, he's searchable. He's just, he clears your opponent's board. You know, he gets around aura, and he just keeps swinging. So when they've got, like, for example, if they've got Chungus Bungus or the Omen of Repose, he can do a very significant amount of damage, live through it, and then swing at him again. So, again, a very good possibility, a very good card to have. Especially if you know you can add Godsend Strike to him, Armor of Stars to him, or if Leonidas' Resolve is out. It's a good card to have as a 1-of, because you don't need to see it. You don't need to have it. We already went over Godsend Strike. It's a good card for anything. I mean, even equipping it to your Quick Blader, it gives him an extra 3 attack, 2 defense. If you want to run his Evolve, it's just going to increase the amount of damage. But again, you have Resolve, so you don't need to run the Evolve version of Quick Blader. Azord, Duke of the Mists. He is a 4 ward. He is in here because of his Evolve, and he's a ward. If you've lost your Steadfast Samurais, he can bring them back when he evolves. You select 2 followers that cost 2 or less in your cemetery and summon them. And as you see, 3, 3, 1, 5, 1, 6, 3. He's only targeting very few things. He's targeting your Steadfast, he's targeting your Quick Blader, and your Vaz, which we'll get to Vaz in a moment. So 3/4 is very good as a non-evolve. You know, you can play him out on turn 4 without having to worry about him dying too easily, and then evolve him in case you need to get your Steadfast. If you have Mars on board, your Steadfast is going to get an additional attack. So there is always ways to get around it. Vaz, Champion Deadeye. I've actually killed people with this card, having Leonidas' Resolve on board, because you tap for 1, tap him, and you can deal damage to your opponent's leader for instant whatever amount of damage. So if you have the Resolve, you have him, you have Godsend Stride, you can easily give it all to him, tap him for 1, and deal direct damage to your opponent, burning them. So again, very good card. It costs 2, so he can even be brought back with Azord, and then he can use his ability. Our last card, and his Evolve becomes a 4/5, and he's just a ward. He's a protection. He, again, not a necessity, but he is a backup. We already know about Mars Silent General, been out for a while. When you evolve, pay X, search your deck for an officer of that amount, play it to field, and then whenever an officer comes to board, you get +1 attack to that officer. So it works with Quick Blader, Steadfast Samurai, Azord. All of them are officers. It works. We got Leonidas' Evolve. He does 5 damage to himself, and then he has Rush because he evolved. Swing, get Leonidas' Resolve on board. Both very, very good. And then we just went over Azord. So my last one is Avid Blader. You know, being that we are running 2 of Vaz, 3 of Quick Blader, 3 Steadfast. She pulls 2 to your hand, so you'll have them, and then she becomes a 5/5. She searches for 2 officers, we reveal them, add them in hand, and then she becomes a 5/5. Very good for 5 costs, you know, 5 for 5. It's a decent card. That's what I would say about this Swordcraft deck. I've had some very positive outlook with it. You guys are more than welcome to check it out, make changes to it. But again, I don't believe in meta. I believe in building all kinds of random stuff. I like funky decks. This just seemed to have worked pretty well, and you can go to my YouTube and also take a look and see how it played against, I think it was Rune. I don't even remember. It's been a little bit. So you could take a look at the YouTube video that I have, but I think it's a pretty decent deck. I mean, oh, and on top of, she has, if 7 followers are in cemetery, she gives +1/+1 at the end of turn. So it's just kind of a beefy, I'm gonna make sure I can swing at you every turn deck, because Steadfast cannot take damage, combat damage. So it's an idea. It's for you guys to look at. Again, I've had good luck with it, but I'm not the luckiest person. If you've watched any of my videos on YouTube, I'm not the luckiest person when it comes down to it. So that's my take on what I call the all-for-one sword deck. So that is that. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, definitely leave them in the comment. Leave a like, subscribe, and of course, we will always catch you later.